Hello people, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. No matter your feelings, XRP Chart says $50 is possible. Okay guys, let's get into it. Okay, so it's been a while since I've covered anything in regards to, like price. And the reason why I've kind of held back off of that is because I'm like you guys, right? I'm an investor, right? I've always said this. And so, I understand, especially like, for example, with how you guys have been obviously following people like Jake Claver, who was giving these predictions. Personally, I don't do price predictions. I never have. I've been willing to discuss what analysts say because I feel like with analysts, they are reading charts, so they're using a skill set and it's not kind of just making absolute guesses. They're at least trying to use a skill set to make their predictions. So I'll discuss things like that, but I've never been someone who just comes out saying to you guys, this is what XRP is going to hit, because the truth is nobody knows for sure, right? And so off of the back of what happened in 2025, us ultimately now having this huge drop that we've had, I've kind of just refrained from doing this type of content because I can imagine like me, you guys are kind of just at a point of like, I'm tired of hearing all this stuff, right? And I do get it. I absolutely do. So it's been a while since I've covered something like this, but I just thought as it has been a long time, I saw this and I thought, let's just have the conversation because there's a few things I've been hearing from analysts. So I'll just give you what their take is and then I'll just let you know my thoughts. So a widely followed XRP commentator believes the long-term chart structure points to a much higher price target, regardless of market sentiment. In a recent post on X, Crypto Bull stated, quote, "You can't tell me that XRP to $50 is not a very natural and normal looking chart." He went on to add that, no matter personal feelings, quote, the chart says $50, unquote. So Crypto Bull says XRP's chart structure points to $50 regardless of sentiment or skepticism. Okay, so as I've said, we've had this huge breakdown in price. The last thing that I'd covered about basically the general market as a whole, because as you know, Bitcoin is the one that leads the market. It was that $74,000 had to hold for us to still get the real true euphoria bull run, the alt season rally that we're ultimately looking for. As we obviously know now, that has been broken completely. It's not even like a thing where it was close. It's been absolutely decimated. We're well below that region. So the person who was talking about this was Credible Crypto. Okay, so he's an analyst, really popular analyst, and I still think he's a good analyst. And this is the thing, like, he never said that $74,000 won't be broken. He said we need it to hold if we want the true bull run. So he was saying basically if $74,000 holds, he believed that Bitcoin would ultimately have another run to a new all-time high. And when it comes to a bull run, basically the higher Bitcoin goes, the higher the rest of the market will go when you have the alt season rally, because it means there's more money in crypto. And what happens is as money comes out of Bitcoin, they then cycle it into other crypto. So the more money that's in Bitcoin, the more money that's eventually going to come out of Bitcoin and then go into other cryptos. So that's the general logic there. Okay. So obviously now that has been broken, what his thesis now is, like, obviously Bitcoin probably won't go to a new all-time high, but he still believes that we'll have an alt season rally. That's what he still personally believes. Now, he has dropped a recent video that I haven't had a chance to check out yet, but in his opinion, he still believes everything is fine overall. He still believes that we are going to have a bull run this year. Now, you've got another analyst who I follow, and that's the Blockchain Backer. Blockchain Backer was calling from a while back that we were going into a bear market. He was basically saying, hey, look, this chart's not looking good. And this was actually before we had the huge breakdown. Now, I don't want to get too much into this. I'm just trying to give you an overview of like where we are and what's led us to this position based on, what the analysts are saying to then give you the thoughts from what's coming here afterwards. So Blockchain Backer was basically saying, hey, these charts are not looking good. He sold some of his crypto because he was saying he feels like the market has peaked. He felt like it had got to a certain time frame where at this point the market should have moved if it was going to go for the big alt season rally, etc. And ultimately that was before October, and that was before October 10th. Now the only thing I'm going to say about this, I have said it numerous times. I still stand by it. I believe that the October 10th liquidation event was manipulated. I personally believe there's enough evidence to see that. There was insider trading going on. So in my opinion, while I will still give blockchain backer his props for, his general thought process, in my opinion, if it's manipulated, you can't foresee that coming, right? So maybe the drop would have happened anyway, or maybe it wouldn't have been as bad. But in my opinion, that whole liquidation event was manipulated. That's how I see it. That's what I think. There's enough evidence there for me to believe that personally. So I do have to kind of take away some of that from blockchain backer, because I don't think that was something that was, the event that maybe he just foreseen. Personally, I think that was manipulated. But either way, he sold crypto. He made the right move, because whether it was luck or whatever, whether it was manipulated, it doesn't matter. He made the right call ultimately. Okay. And obviously since the market hasn't recovered. So he's ultimately right in the fact that we've not had this bull run. Okay. So now these are two of the main analysts I personally follow. Okay. And I'm going to tell you what their thought process is on both ends. So I've kind of just already said to you about Credible Crypto. He still believes that we're going to have a bull run, an all-season rally this year. He still believes we're going to have a massive all-season rally. Then you've got Blockchain Backer, who he's been a bit up and down, right? Like I've seen certain things where he's basically said, well, look, we've been through a bear market now. He believes that we've been in a bear market since basically the beginning of 2025. He said that basically, the real push where the bull run was in November when he first got announced that he was going to be elected, President Trump, sorry. So he said, that's when XRP went up to $3 and whatever, some change. Bitcoin had a run up as well, but this is where I'm a bit confused, because Bitcoin got to $126,000 during 2025, but he's saying it was in a bear market. Now, I know that you can still have up and down momentum in a bull market or a bear market. So it doesn't mean that if you're in a bear market, you can't still have prices going up at some points. But I wouldn't have thought you could get to that much of an all-time high. But hey, look, I'm not here to judge on whether that's right or wrong. I'm just telling you what their thoughts are. So he has basically said, look, the bear market's done now. What we're now looking for is just where's the bottom? Where's the bottom in terms of this is the lowest the market's going to go, and now we can start working our way back up. So he's actually said at one point, he doesn't know how long it's going to take. He's saying, would it be this year? Could it take another year? We don't know. But then more recently, he's saying that he thinks within like the next month or so, we should be starting to go back into building back up to new all-time highs and stuff. So he said that basically he believes that, XRP and, all the altcoins, etc., could go into their all-season rally this year. But then he has also said he doesn't know if he could go into it, next year or whatever. So he has been a bit up and down with what he's saying. I'll be honest with you. It's hard to get like a firm stance from him. But the latest thing he said is that he believes within the next few months, we could start seeing like the positive price action moving back up. So this is the thing for me, right? In terms of who's right or wrong here, Credible Crypto basically saying we are still in a bull market. He's saying that we're still in a bull market, that this is just a consolidation phase and we'll move back up to the upside this year. Blockchain Backer, as I say, has been a bit up and down, but ultimately he's saying we've been in a bear market for 2025. We're actually pretty much done now with the bear market. We're just got to find the bottom and then we'll basically work up to going into new all-time highs and having that all-season rally, which he has said, at one point that could be this year or within a few months. So this is my thing on this, right? I don't care about the semantics of whether we're in a bull market or a bear market. What I really care about is, are we going to get the alt-season rally this year or not? And I'm sure that's what you guys think as well. Like, if we have this alt-season rally, this year, I'm not going to care about saying, well, we was in a bear market, which then went into a bull market, or we was in a bull market the whole time and then we just had our all-season rally. I don't care. I just want the all-season rally. I'm not bothered about whose thesis was more accurate. All I care about is, when is the all-season rally going to happen? And I'm sure you guys feel the same way, right? So this is my overall thoughts, personally, okay? I'm not a chart analyst and I don't do price predictions. So this is just my overall thoughts. Look, I'm not here to give you guys any type of false hope. I have no idea. Like, I'm so kind of unsure at this point. I will be honest, I've lost a lot more faith than what I had when we was in 2025. I was a lot more, thinking before we broke the $74,000 area. I was a lot more confident that, things are looking okay. It just needs to have that rebound. But once we kind of lost that and how bad it really did get, I don't know. Like, are we going to get it this year? I really don't know. And the thing that I will say about that is, I can't say that I have like more confidence that it will rebound, right? Now, look, I'm not in any way a chart analyst or anything like that. So just take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt, because I'm not here to act like I've got any kind of, I'm not here to say like I've got any kind of wisdom for you guys to be able to say, this is how it works or whatever. I'm just giving you my personal thoughts. That's really what it is, for what it's worth. So my thing is, if I'll be honest with you, there's just too much uncertainty at this point, right? Because, Credible Crypto, even though he was saying this is what will happen if this happens, like as in the $74,000 mark, he felt it was going to hold, right? That was his personal opinion. But he did say if it drops, then yeah, we have to look at a new thesis. His thesis is still now overall bullish, but this is one of those things where I do wonder if it's a thing of like, you can't see the wood through the trees, if that makes sense. Like, is it that he's so focused on thinking that there's going to still be a bull run that he's just missing a lot of indicators? Because when I do watch blockchain backers content, I have to be honest, he does put across a very plausible argument as to why we was in a bear market. And when he talks about all like the indicators that have hit, and he's saying, oh, like, I don't know why people are ignoring all these clear indicators that would tell you that we're in a bear market. I can't argue with that, right? But look, I will say this, like, blockchain backer has been wrong in the past. He has made incorrect calls. But on the other hand, so has Credible Crypto. Like, this is the thing. So I'm not here to say, either of them are right or wrong. I don't know. And that's the truth. Nobody knows. So this is why I will listen to chart analysts, but I don't just take their word as gospel, because I've seen them be wrong in the past. And this is the thing. Like, as you can see between blockchain backer and Credible Crypto, they've both got two different stances from the charts that they're reading. So there's different people who can read a chart in different ways, right? So you could maybe get 5 chart analysts to look at these charts, and they could all probably tell you a different story. And this is why you get different analysts giving you like different types of price predictions. So this is the thing that I'll say regarding $50. $50 in general is possible. Okay, like $50 is possible. Even this cycle, it is possible. Will it happen? I have no idea. Like, my question now is, when is this cycle even going to happen? Like, are we going to get the bull run this year at this point? I don't know. Or are we talking another 4 years now to wait for another cycle run? To me, that's the bigger question at this point. Now, if we are talking about, $50 in the next cycle, it is possible, but let's just be real here. Let's just be completely blunt. If, let's just say, it takes another 4 years or so to get the next bull run, okay? That would mean that this run that we've had now, this in 2025, this was the bull run for us. And XRP got to like $3 and some change. If that's what we've had from this bull run, I'm not exactly going to be feeling too optimistic about the next bull run, because that wasn't really a high run, was it? Like, that really wasn't that great. So if that is the peak of this cycle, then yeah, like, I can't exactly say I'm going to feel that confident about what's to come for future reference, because to me it would seem like, there was a lot of cryptos as well. And let me just make this clear, like, there was a lot of cryptos that didn't run at all. Like, there's a lot of cryptos that I hold. I've got like 20 different cryptos. There was some that barely even moved from the bear market lows. So this isn't me just trying to be, like, negative about XRP, because XRP was actually one of the best performers. So I'm not trying to be negative at all in that way. But what I'm saying is we would have expected a much higher run than $3, because it barely surpassed its previous all-time high, and some cryptos barely moved at all. So what I'm trying to say is, like, if that was the run for this cycle, let's just say that this is in, that's done, and we have to wait another 4 years. Well, what do we expect for the next 4 years then? Like, is it a thing where these bull runs are just not going to have that much juice anymore? Like, they're just not going to be able to produce that much gains anymore, and it's a lot of these cryptos are just not even going to move at all? Who knows? And I think this is what I will say. this is the positives and negatives about kind of getting crypto to that mainstream level. It's positive because obviously we want crypto to have that stability. We want to know that it's here to stay. We want regulations and stuff. But when there's something here that people can use to make money as an avenue, as a vehicle to make money, people are going to take advantage of that, unfortunately. And we've seen that with like meme coins and stuff like that. There's people in politics who are creating their own meme coins and just rug pulling people. It's happening left, right, and center. So unfortunately, while it is great that we're getting all this positive action from crypto being adopted and recognized, it also comes with, okay, now people are very much aware of this and they know it's something that can create a lot of money. So they're going to manipulate it and use it for their own personal gain. And I think that, to me personally, is where it comes to me, the uncertainty, because as I say, I feel like the October event, the liquidation event, was manipulated. So if they can just keep doing things like that to keep making money, like shorting the market and then longing the market with leverage and just keep making money back and forth off of like politics news. Yeah, like how is the market going to be able to naturally build up from that then, if it just keeps on being manipulated? So I think that's the difficult situation that we're in at this point personally. And that's why I say I don't know, because to me, like, it's not just as simple as just the natural market order at this point. I kind of feel like we're having to deal with a lot of, I feel like we're having to deal with a lot of manipulation as well. And I think that's really playing a part. So yeah, I know this obviously isn't like great to hear my thoughts in terms of, you know, where we are, because I'm not really giving you an answer. But look, in that regard, I'm only giving you my thoughts in general anyway. Like, I'm not someone who reads charts or anything. So it's not like I can give you, you know, real great predictions or anything like that. And look, as I said to you guys before, no one can give you predictions. Like, to me, in all honesty, like, there's nothing wrong with listening to like what chart analysts say, reading charts and stuff like that. But even with that, like, I wouldn't hold on to these things as gospel. You know, like, it's good to hear like what some people's thought process is and whatnot, but nobody knows for sure. Unfortunately, nobody knows. So I'm happy to discuss these things and just talk about where we are and stuff like that. But I'll never like be here sitting here just saying now, okay, because this analyst has said $50, we're going to hit $50. Not at all. I'm saying it's a possibility. It is plausible. So it's not an unrealistic target, but I'm not convinced that we're going to hit $50. I have no idea, but I'm willing to discuss it and, you know, have the conversation. So yeah, I'll leave it there. But for me, guys, I'll just be honest with you. I'm not kind of, you know, going one way or the other at this point. I'm just very much on a let's just wait and see, because for me, I thought 2025 was going to be the year. Like, everything was looking good. You know, Bitcoin at one point was $126,000. XRP was at $3 and some change, looking like it was ready to go up again. And obviously we saw what happened. So I'm at a point now where I'm just letting things progress and just seeing how it goes, because it just seems too uncertain for me. It just seems way too uncertain. But I will say this, $50 is plausible, guys. That's not an outrageous target for XRP to hit. It is possible. Whether it will hit $50 in the next bull run, whether that's this year, 2 years time, 4 years time, whatever, you know, we'll see. Like, we don't know if that's actually going to happen. But all I'm saying is it is a possible number. That's not just an unrealistic throwing a number out there. Like, that is plausible. So I hope we can get something like that. I mean, to be honest with you, if we can get anything $10 plus, to me, I would think that's amazing. I would think that's absolutely amazing. But let me know your thoughts, guys. I'd be interested to hear. Thank you very much for watching this. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell. Take care.